Alright, so it's Nick and Andrew from OnePlus Armor, and today we're going to do a High Elf book review and, yeah, go over our thoughts on the Army and the different units and stuff in it.
The book's been out for, I think, about a year and a half, and this is going to be a part of our kind of old news, new views series, where we're going to re-go over these books, compare it against what the initial impressions were, and see how maybe the armies have panned out in the kind of tournament scene, and our impressions. Because I've played a bit of High Elves. I have an army. Andrew's, I would say, the resident High Elf expert. So yeah,
expert.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just sort of get right into the meat and potatoes of the army. So we'll start with the special rules.
Yep. What page is that?
36.
You marked them?
I did.
Okay. Alright, you want to start with the first one?
Yeah, so the first High Elf special rule is Martial Prowess. So High Elf models with this rule can make a supporting attack with 1 extra rank than normal. This is cumulative with any other special rule that allows a unit to fight with an extra rank, so most commonly would be spears. In addition, when shooting, all High Elf models with this special rule fire in 1 more rank than normal. So if the unit uses volley fire, this will normally mean that all models in the front 3 ranks fire, and half the models in the 4th and any subsequent ranks are allowed to shoot. This is also cumulative with any other special rules that might allow them to shoot an extra rank, of which I can't think of any at the time. So what this means basically is instead of having 2 ranks of supporting, you have 3. With spears, maybe 4. Horde unit, you can get up to 5 sets of supporting attacks.
And the Horde, you need like 50 models in a unit.
50 spear elves, ready to go.
Would you be putting 50 spear elves in your army?
50 sea guard, ready to go.
Maybe 50 sea guard, I don't know. But
then they can shoot, right?
Yeah, then they can shoot.
It's
an okay special rule. It's definitely not the reroll ones to wound for the Dark Elves.
I'd say it's just as good, though. Having those extra attacks come out is pretty handy.
Well, yeah, you know what? And maybe there are going to be examples of where that is handy with some of the units that we'll talk about later on. So the next one, Valor of Ages. If your opponent's army roster contains 1 or more models from Warhammer Dark Elves, models with special rule reroll all failed Panic, Fear, and Terror tests. So that's kind of not as good as I wanted.
It's kind of balls.
Yeah. Because it's Panic, Fear, and Terror, not Break tests.
Right.
So where they get Hatred and they're re-rolling hits, and because they're Murderous Prowess, they're re-rolling wounds, you're just worried about their Panic, Fear, and Terror tests. So you're kind of at a disadvantage at this High Elf versus Dark Elf fight in that regards.
Yeah. I've played enough Dark Elves with this army, and I don't think I can name maybe 2 or 3 instances where it's actually even come into effect. Most of the time, the leadership of this army is fairly high. Like, I think
lowest is 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's comparable to the elites of other armies.
Yeah.
And a good player is going to have, hopefully, his BSB close by anyways to have a reroll regardless. So
yeah, the important stuff at least. Yeah.
If this was a reroll against break test, that'd be amazing, because if you have your cavalry or stuff out in front, and maybe they are out of the BSB bubble, that would be more beneficial. But like against panic tests and stuff,
yeah. I can remember one time in a tournament where this would have been effective, and actually may have significantly changed the outcome of the game. It prevented a flank charge on a Witch Elf block, but I forgot it. Yeah, brutal. I forgot. So then my unit runs away and whatever else, and it was only until we're calculating kind of the results and I got spanked that I thought, oh, that would have applied. Anyways, so yeah, it kind of sucks, but what are you going to do?
So the next one is Lilith's Blessing. So models with this special rule add +1 to all attempts to cast spells from the lore of High Magic. Basically every wizard in the High Elf book has this special rule, and I gotta say, it's fucking sweet. Being able to cast with a +5 really helps push through those spells that you need to get through. Especially, It is only effective with Lore High Magic, which we got the cards here. But a lot of these spells are good for your army anyway, so
yeah.
chances are you're going to have at least a level 2 with this, maybe your main wizard as well, depending on how you build your army.
Definitely, casting on a +5 is nice, and being a Lizardman player, it pisses me off that the Slan, being, you know, supposed to be the most powerful caster in the universe, doesn't get this +1. But anyways.
I shed a single tear for your loss.
Yeah, well, anyways, you know what? Anyways, yeah, it's really cool. Not as cool, though, as the Wood Elf +1 in a forest.
Yeah, they get it for every lore they take as long as they're in a forest.
And, of course, they get a free forest, so they're guaranteed to have a forest where they want their mage.
Correct.
So, but anyways, it's still not bad if you're bringing... And we'll give you a reason why, depending on some units, you may choose why you're going to take High Magic. Next one is Fireborn. Models with this roll have a 2+ ward against wounds caused by attacks that have the Flaming Attack special rule. I think it's a kind of a neat little addition. There aren't too many examples of that in the book. And Flaming...
It's common enough.
It's common enough, but I guess with the Dragonbane gem or helm running Demon Princes, it's not as common, you know.
I think you still see it.
Yeah.
I always try to get...
one unit with it, eh?
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah, no. So that, you know, that's a neat little trick. So if you find the unit in the guy's army with the Banner of Eternal Flame, and your guys have Fireborn, then you're pretty, you're in the money.
Yep.
You know what? Wouldn't kick that out of bed, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good rule. You know, there's no downside to having it, and
having a 2+ ward.
The units that get it, we'll go over that as we continue. You know, you can make good effect of that rule.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one is Arrows of Isha. Shooting attacks made by a model who is attacking with a weapon that has the special rule are magical attacks. And models from the Forces of Destruction suffer an additional -1 to their armor save against wounds caused by the Arrows of Isha. The only ones who get this are the Sisters of Averlorn. It's pretty good because their bows are already strength 4, so having that -2 to armor save against Forces of Destruction is pretty sweet.
And having some shooting in the army with magical attacks is great if you're fighting a vampire counts with a bunch of spirit hosts or hex rays running around.
Yeah.
And you need to get rid of those quick.
Yeah, having magic attacks that you can reach out and touch someone with, as opposed to having to charge in with a unit, is always really handy for that ethereal
and having
stuff.
to rely on just a magic missile that could easily get dispelled.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So those are the Army's special rules. Overall, what would you think?
They're pretty good.
Yeah. They're not what wows you about the book, but as you're probably already aware, this is a pretty strong army that's been doing quite well.
Yeah,
in the
basically
tournaments.
the rules aren't like over the top amazing, but they really synergize well with the book itself and like the units in it. So
I think that's well put. Next, the Armory Uthun. It's just, I guess, Ulthwan. I don't know. Anyways, just a couple items that they get, others don't. Kind of neat. Ithilmar Barding. It's Barding. It follows all the rules for it, except you don't suffer any penalty to movement. So now anything that's barded can move at the regular speed of their steed, which in the case of elves is movement 9.
yeah, so that's
awesome.
Yeah, that's wicked.
Silver Helms and Dragon Princes can move 18.
Yeah, March 18.
March 18. That's just nuts.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's nothing else that's to be said. That's just sweet.
Yeah, so the next one is Dragon Armor. So Dragon Armor provides the wearer with a 5+ armor save, so heavy armor. And as well, it gives a 6+ ward save and the Fireborn special rule. So this is basically the Dragon Prince's personal armor. They're right here. Gives him heavy armor, a 6+ ward save, and a 2+ ward save. 6+ ward save and a 2+ ward save against flaming. Built-in fire Dragon Bane gem for the whole unit. Amazing.
Won't say no. So if you have that dwarf player that stacks their organ gun with the Ruin of Burning, You can just park yourself right in front of it and laugh them in the face.
Not today, dwarf.
Yeah, not today. The Bow of Avalorn. So this is the sweet bow that we were talking about. It's range 24 inches, so it's a little short, but strength 4, arrows of Isha, it's flaming, and volley fire.
Yep.
Strength 4 bow, it's -1 to armor saves against force of destruction, and that's magical. So, you know, Spirit Host might get in the way, get rid of them. Hex Race want to go through your crap, get rid of them.
Yep.
And then Force of Destruction. These are, you know, chaos in all their incarnations. You know, demons, beastmen, orcs and goblins. Don't they fall in? Yeah. Dark elves. Are Dark elves Force of Destruction?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
The Skaven. Okay.
Skaven.
So I was talking with a friend before about the use of this, and because it hurts Forces of Destruction, we were also thinking, what units have what armies have the most regen units? And you know, trolls in vampire counts, trolls in the chaos and orc books.
Yeah.
Almost most of the Nurgle stuff in the demons book. Some of the Nurgle stuff in the warriors book. Basically, most units or armies that have regen stuff are Forces of Destruction anyways, so this hurts them even more. It's sort of a little, like, it's not a big difference, because...
I think it's still pretty significant, because we know some people that do, you know, for example, have been doing well in terms around here, that runs the troll horde, or troll, big block of chaos trolls. With Throg. So if you just have a couple of dinky Sisters Avalorn, throw a 1 little arrow into them, you've gotten rid of their regen for the whole shooting phase. So then if you had 4, you may not have 4 bolt throwers, but if you had 4 bolt throwers, then you could take out a couple of trolls.
That's true.
Just because, you got rid of their regen. So, you know, that's still pretty sweet.
Lion Cloak?
Lion Cloak. Models wearing the Lion Cloak add +2 to their armor save against non-magical shooting attacks. This is kind of good, but the worst version of the Sea Dragon Cloak.
Yeah.
So, of course, Dark Elves do it better.
Well, I'm not going to complain too much.
No, until you talk about... Yeah, when we get to the unit, we'll see why we're not going to complain.
Yeah. So we'll jump right into the unit choices. So, first off is the Lords. The Fighty Lords. So there's the Prince and the Noble. So the Prince would be the Lord version, and the Noble is your hero version.
The Prince, he's 140 points.
Yep.
Are we allowed to say that?
We just did.
Well, anyways, he's movement 5, weapon skill 7, plus skill 7, strength 4, toughness 3, wounds 3, initiative 8, attacks 4, and leadership 10. He can have a whole slew of things. He can go on top of he can go on an eagle, a griffin, and dragons, and can have 100 points of magic items. And he's got always strike first. That's one thing we didn't say. So all the elves have always strike first.
Right.
But you should already know that. But where does that say that here?
It doesn't. It's just in the profiles every time.
Yeah, it's just in the profiles every time.
Before it used to be a separate rules like Speed of Syrian or something.
Yeah.
Now they just turned it into regular ASF and put it in everyone's profile.
Okay.
These guys are good. You know, every army most likely is going to have at least the Noble because he's also your BSB.
Yeah.
You can kit him out with 50 points of magic items, put him on a horse, eagle, or griffin. I think you can throw him in a chariot too, I believe, but...
You'd never do that.
Yeah. Usually you probably only ever see him on the horse to run him with like Silver Helms or your Dragon Princes. There's a couple good foot builds, I guess, you can do as well. Not much to say about him. He's basically your standard BSB. He's a half-decent fighter, but at the same time he's also an elf, so only toughness 3.
How about for the Lords, the Prince? Would you ever take a Prince?
Yeah, if I was running a dragon.
If you wanted to run a dragon.
Like, he's your fighty guy. He's still an elf. He's got a little bit better strength, wounds, and weapon skills. So, you know, you want him to have good combat output to begin with. Might as well just go...
It's got the leadership 10. So that's if you want leadership 10 in the army, that's how you get it, the Prince.
Fair enough. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, put him on a dragon. just maximize his combat output as much as possible. He does become cannon bait, but
I think the benefit of dragons is they fly, so
yeah,
you can sort of
hopefully survive a turn or two, and then you're in combat anyways.
Yeah, and use Apotheosis to heal.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Yeah, the prince is good, but with other lord choices, you may be moving towards those instead. So the next lord would be the Archmage. 185 points. Don't need to go through their stats. Starts off as a level 3, upgrade to a level 4 for 35 points. Can take any spells from the
rulebook.
The rulebook, and can take high magic.
Right.
Archmage.
He's basically my go-to general every time.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know, he's your level 4. You can. There's a couple magic items that.
You all know it's the Book of Hoeth.
It's the Book of Hoeth.
Interestingly, costed at 55 points. That would make it a dead even 100 with the Talisman of Preservation.
Yeah, that's my build. I think that's everyone's build. So
yeah,
give him a 4 board save and then the book.
Yeah, reroll a single dice from each casting. So a 1 causing you issues, reroll it, get your 3, 4, just up the casting. Yeah,
and that's every casting.
Basically, when you make a high elf army, say it's 2,400 points, you start off at 2,345.
Yeah,
that's what you do. That's all you do. Next, the lords. The Anointed of Assyrian. This guy's a bit more expensive than the Prince. He's 210. He's got 1 less attack, 1 less leadership. But otherwise,
he's got a whole slew of special rules there.
Yeah, comes with always strikes first, Blessings of Assyrian. That gives him his
4 board save.
Oh no, that's Witness to Destiny. What's Blessings of Assyrian do?
So basically, this guy is the Lord version of the Phoenix Guard, which is a unit.
Yeah, so if you want to run a kind of a fluffy list, then you take him. But he's also no slouch either. He's here we go. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Blessing of Assyrian. All malls in the unit that contain Anointed have a 6+ ward and Immunopsychology special rule.
So you can just throw them in a unit and then they'll get a 6+ ward anyways.
Yeah, or if somebody goes into a unit with him, they end up with 6+ ward. So we might talk a bit of combos later, but what would be neat, like if you're running 2 mages, like a level 1 or a level 2, and the Anointed, the mage that goes in there comes stock with their 6+. And he's kind of expensive, but keep in mind he's got his 4-up ward, and he can take 100 points of magic items.
Yeah, so basically, like a 4-up ward is 45 points with the Talisman of Preservation, so already he's costed pretty nicely if you just take that into account into his cost already.
He causes fear. He's got magic resistance too, so this guy won't be spirit leeched.
Right.
No death snipe in this guy. Martial prowess, valor of the ages, witness to destinies is 4-up ward. I like this guy. I'm building a new list that's going to include him and an Archmage, so I'm running Lord Heavy.
Okay.
But this guy, I'm making him unkillable. He's going to have his 4-up ward, give him the Armored Silver Steel and Dawnstone. And so basically, he's going to have a 2-up rerollable 4-up on foot inside of a Phoenix Guard bus.
That's pretty gross.
With the Razor Banner.
Alright, so next up is the Lore Master of Hoeth. This guy is the Lord version of the Sword Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Basic elf stat line, so strength, toughness 3.
Strength 4.
Strength 4, ooh, that's pretty good.
Yep, 3 wounds, initiative 7.
The cool thing about this bro, though, is he's a level 2 wizard as well as being a fighty guy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't generate spells as normal. He knows all 8 of the signature lores from the big rulebook.
And what's cool is, if you notice in his equipment, heavy armor. So now that means you can give him magic armor.
Yep.
So your wizard is weapon skill 6, strength 4, initiative 7, 3 attacks. Comes stock with a great weapon. Has heavy armor. Can have 100 points of magic items. So you can give him the Armor of Destiny.
Yep.
Or the Armor of Silver Steel and the Talisman of Preservation. So he's got his 2-up, 4-up. And a heavy weapon will still do him nice, and he can cast Searing Doom at whatever, high armor save or big ass fireballs, or he can, cast regen on his unit.
And he's pointed fairly, you know, appropriate. He's only 230. So, in bigger games, I don't see his benefit as much. But say you're doing like a 1,000-point game, throw him in and he's going to be a fighty general and also your wizard in one character.
Yeah, I think he's a nice balance between, you know, obviously it's going to come up to your play style, but if you find that you're moving up your army too much and your wizards keep getting squashed, well then here you have that kind of in the middle. You have a guy that can dish it back and he can actually take it.
Yeah.
And, you know, like all the signature spells, having all of them is not a bad thing.
No, it's basically, he's your toolbox, right? You know, you need something done, he's probably going to have a spell to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Alright, and now we're on to heroes.
Alright.
So
we can do special characters sort of at the end.
Well, we'll talk about special characters at the end.
Yeah, so like I said before, the Noble is your other fighty character. He's also going to be your BSB, so most armies are going to have him.
Yeah. He's an elf.
He's an elf, so it's hard to keep him alive. I've been toying with the mounted version recently after using a foot one for a while, and I think mounted is the way to go just because you can get that sort of one-up save. You can keep him safe in a unit of silver helms.
You can give him a lance if you're kind of running low on points, so that at least if you charge the first round, he's strength 6. He'll always strike the first, so he's re-rolling most of the time.
And his initiative's high, so yeah, most times he'll be re-rolling.
And you know, if you want to, you can give him the banner of the World Dragon. So for you guys that don't know, that's that cheap-ass banner that gives a 2+ ward against anything magical. That's magical attacks, magic shooting, magic missiles, magic, anything.
Also, miscasts, the damage caused by them are magical, so you get a 2-up ward save against that as well for your wizard.
That's another Andrew.
I patent that? No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I didn't. Yeah, so basically every army's going to have this guy. Every army has a BSB.
It's kind of neat that you can just, if you know somebody has a lord that's going to cause you problems and you know they have a magical weapon, you can kind of throw them in there.
Yep.
And keep him occupied for a while, so he's not cleaving through your stuff.
Right.
Next hero, the mage. So he's kind of your stock, not your lord level mage. Your hero level mage comes as a level 1, 85 points, can be upgraded to a level 2 for 35. Can be mounted. The only thing important worth saying here is the steed. You're not putting him in a chariot. If you do that, you're like me. Not very good. Can take 50 points of magic items, so obviously 25 of those are your Dispel Scroll.
Yeah, well...
Or... Yeah. Well, with the Book of Hoth, it's maybe less necessary, because the Book of Hoth also applies to your Dispel.
Yeah, it depends, I guess, on the points level.
Yeah.
If he's your main caster, maybe you would give him the book over the Spell Scroll.
You can't give him the book. Book's 55.
Oh, okay. So
he's got 50, so I'm just saying, like, in a big points game, if you have him, probably throw the Dispel Scroll on him.
Yeah, for sure. He's a scroll caddy.
Yeah, exactly. But there's also nice things that you can do. Like, for example, if you didn't want to run high magic on your level 4, he can be the guy for high magic, just for the simple fact of getting the lore attribute, which we may not have discussed yet. But when high elves take the lore of high magic, their lore attribute is for a successfully cast spell, they get a bonus 1 to their ward save.
Right.
To me, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. There's a couple units that benefit more from that than others, but another thing to note is if you do take high magic with him, all high elf mages get +1 to cast their the racial lore, so high magic.
So he's like a level 3.
If you put him as a level 2, he's actually casting as a level 3, which is fairly nice.
Yeah, not bad for 85, or well, at that point he'd be 120, but that's still not too bad. Kind of a cheap level 3. He's got 2 spells.
Yeah.
Choice of 2 signatures, one which is standard magic missile, another one can just remove magic effects. So like the only way to get a hex, to dispel a hex in the game that's already been cast.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat. I haven't used it that much, but anyways, it's nice just to be able to cast, and your opponent, if you just casting it out of nowhere, and your opponent's like, well, I'm not going to waste a spell dice,
Right.
then you've just upgraded your ward save.
Yep.
So that's kind of neat. Next one.
Dragon Mage Calidor. Basically, he's a level 2 fire mage riding a dragon.
You can upgrade him to a level 2. He starts as a level 1, but yeah, you can.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he comes with a dragon. I was wondering why his points were so high.
Yeah, he comes stock with a dragon, which is kind of neat.
It's themey, but
It's themey. The spells, he comes with set spells. So, I believe one of them is Enchanted Blades, which is +1 to hit with close combat attacks and shooting.
and makes it like magical.
Right. Which is nice because it's useful, right? And sorry, just flipping through the book trying to find this bro.
47.
Okay. So Warrior Mage.
He gets a bonus +2 to cast spells from the Lore of Fire, so if he's a level 2, he's like a level 4.
He's casting as a level 4.
That's neat. But the first spell he generates is always Flaming Sword of Ruin, so you basically get that, and then you only get one other spell.
Right. Another cool thing about him, though, is if you flip back to his unit entry, he comes...
What were you going to say?
I was going to say you're able to take magic armor with him.
Negative. Unless it says under Warrior Mage. Nope. Nope, no more magic armor for this guy.
Oh, weird.
You can take magic items. Oh, no! Options. May take dragon armor.
There you go. So you take the dragon armor, and then you can give him magic armor, which is pretty nice. You can throw shield on him.
Yeah, so you can get him... You can get him a 3-up save.
2 up if you take the enchanted shield.
Enchanted shield, yeah. So not too bad. He comes with 2 attacks. So he's a dragon mage, so he's got 2 attacks instead of 1. He's still strength 3, but with that flaming sword can make him better, but the dragon's kind of the more important thing.
Right.
I think bottom line, they're just better choices.
Yeah. If you have, for some reason, 300 extra points, sure.
400 extra points.
Yeah, but unless you're playing like a really big game, it's kind of not cost effective.
Yeah, maybe there are people out there who will disagree with us, and please do tell us those epic times that the dragon mage has killed everything.
Yeah.
Then I might take them, because I like taking different things, but other than that... Next hero. They got a lot of different hero choices. I like the variety.
Well, they added a bunch, so yeah. So next up was the Sea Helm.
The Lothern Sea Helm, 100 points. He's kind of at par with the Noble in terms of combat. He's got 1 less attack. Comes with Spear, Light Armor, Shield, always strikes first. His important special rules are Naval Discipline and Wind Rider. Those are interesting. So his Wind Rider means when you put him inside one of those new chariots we'll talk about later, he gives himself and the chariot a ward save.
A 4-up ward save.
4-up ward save, which is kind of nice.
Only against shooting attacks, though.
Yeah, only against shooting attacks. And then what I think is less appreciated that could be quite important is the naval discipline. So basically what this does is if, say for example, you're being charged in the flank or rear, and that's obviously not a very good position to find yourself in.
No.
If you pass a leadership test, you can actually make a combat reform. So basically if somebody gets you in the rear, you get leadership and he's leadership 9 and maybe there's a BSB around, turn your unit around, and that's no longer a rear charge. And it's actually a unit containing, so it doesn't have to be in the Lothern Seaguard to do that.
It
could be anything. Yeah, so I think that's a neat little special rule that's kind of underappreciated.
I don't know, I don't think it's worth 30 points. I'd rather the Noble anytime over that. You lose attacks, like, what's his purpose other than that kind of gimmicky special rule, right?
Yeah, it is a little gimmicky, but I've seen... you're not taking a Noble to be all that killy, let's be honest. You lose 1 attack.
Alright, fair enough.
But anyways, but he can't be your BSB. I think...
Yes, he can. That's...
Really? No, he can't.
Who's the other BSB?
The only BSB is the Noble. Oh, Lothran Seahelm.
Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, he can.
So
well, then I may take him.
Really?
Well, that was the only thing preventing me from taking him is when I thought he couldn't be the BSB. I would give up that attack for having a guy in a unit that I could switch around.
That's cool.
I don't know, maybe. Points
play
get
with
tight.
it, I guess.
Yeah, play with it. Who knows? Next one.
Handmaiden of the Everqueen. I love this chick. She's your, your shooty hero if you want to take one. She's got what, ballistic skill 7?
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's nuts. She's strength 4. ASF.
Got the Bow of Averlorn.
The Bow of Averlorn, although there's a magic item in here. It's called the Reaver Bow. So this...
You're giving her the Reaver Bow.
I always give her the Reaver Bow.
Yeah.
So it's range 30 bow. It's strength as the user +1. So
strength 5.
So with her it's strength 5. And it has the multiple shots 3 special rules. So she's making 3 strength 5 shots every time she shoots. Even with her high ballistic skill, she can move, multi-shoot, and be at long range, and most times...
Still hit on a 2.
Still hit on a 2. She can take 50 points of magic items, so this...
And the Potion of Strength.
With the Potion of Strength, so for 1 turn, you can shoot at strength 8 with 3 shots hitting on 2s.
And then watch your opponent flip.
Slap you in the face after.
Yeah, and throw something.
I try to fit her in every list I take. Another thing she has, units of Sisters of Averlorn, which are like the regular foot troop.
Well, the new rare choice.
The new rare choice. She makes them quick to fire, so they can move and shoot without penalty.
Yeah, that's. I think that's pretty significant. It kind of makes up for the fact they weren't skirmishers.
Yeah, or have a musician.
Or have a musician. Yeah, that kind of sense. But anyways, yeah, that's a good hero for sure. So after going through the Lords and Heroes, you can already see how there's a lot of different ways you can build this army. I think a lot of different effective ways. Some more, some are more fluffy than others. But definitely a lot of options and a lot of strong options, and you can start seeing how your points are ticking, and you're not fitting at all. No. And as you can already hear from us, we have different kind of approaches. He's the Handmaiden kind of guy. I'm kind of a Lothran Seahelm or Anointed kind of guy. So, anyways, next core.
So the 2 basic ones are your Spearmen and Archers.
Yeah.
Not much really to say about them. Your Spearmen have light armor, spears, and shields.
Mm-hmm.
They're fairly cheap at 9 points, but basically just elves, strength 3, toughness 3.
They're filling up the core allowance. Put a mage in there. Can be steadfast.
Yeah.
If you take enough of them. Spearmen can take a magic banner at 25 points.
Which is handy.
Handy. I don't know what banner. I don't have them off the top of my head.
The one I usually take is if I take one on them, it's the +1 movement banner, so they're movement 6 instead of 5. Just so you get them where you want to, if you need to lock something down.
Yeah. Anyway, so 2 different units, pretty standard. Archers, Spearmen. Archers, nothing to write home about, especially since there's Wood Elf running around that can...
outshoot them now. But basically, bow elves, they come with longbows, so range 30, no armor unless
good to clear chaff.
Yeah, I take them sometime as like a mage bunker or something if I don't have something else.
Well, on my new list, that's what I do. Kind of run them. That's where my level 4 shadow goes. At the back. Yeah,
same with the the Handmaiden of the Everqueen. If I don't have sisters, I'll throw her in the archer block instead, just so I have that sort of base shooting.
Another unit's the Lothran Sea Guard.
So that's
archers and spearmen together.
Yeah, it's basically one guy who has a bow and has the same equipment as a spearman.
An important distinction, though, is they're just a regular bow, not a long bow.
Right, so range 24.
Range 24. He's 11 points, so he's 1 more than the archers, but his shield is 1 point, so he's 12 points.
Yeah, so you have to buy the shield separate.
Yeah. Light armor, bow, comes with a 5-up spear. I don't know. A lot of people don't like them because they're more expensive than the archers and spearmen. I like them because you get archers and spearmen in one unit. It's always nice to be able to stand and shoot. It's always nice that your spear elves can clear chaff. It's like the 2 things together.
Yeah.
They're a bit more expensive, but I've never regretted taking Lothran Sea Guard.
Yeah, and like 12 points compared to 9 points. It does add up in the long run, but really it's not that big of a difference.
Well, considering that now these guys can participate much sooner than the spearmen can.
Right.
And they can also hold up a little better than the archers can.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in my mind, it's, you know, you're playing with an elite army. You're not playing with Skaven here.
Right.
So, I think you just got to get used to that fact. But, you know what? There are better high elf players than me out there, definitely. So, you know, they can offer up their insight and opinions. Yep. What's the next core unit?
So, the Silver Helms. Elves on steeds. Not much to say. They have heavy armor.
Lances,
the barding on their war horses, which are movement 9, and you can buy a shield for an extra 2 points.
So if you don't buy the shield, don't play Warhammer.
Yeah, you gotta take that shield. It gives them the 2+ save, and having a 2+ save unit in your core is pretty sweet. Especially a cavalry one, so you got that nice movement. You can get them where you want to, and
movement 9. Cavalry, yeah.
On the charge, they're strength 5 because they do come with lances, so they can pack a punch.
If you don't break them in the first round, you might be in a little issue, though.
Yeah, I see them more not as your anvil unit, but like something that's locked up earlier. You come in and finish them off with these bros.
Yeah. You know, you can kind of clear chaff as you're bringing the anvil, and then slam him in.
Yeah.
So in my next list I'm making, I'm kind of juggling too many armies right now, I'm kind of running a big bus of Silver Helms of the Banner, the World Dragon, and a bus of Phoenix Guard with the Anointed of Assyrian. So that's kind of like unkillable, 2 kind of big unkillable units almost.
And then just grind them out slow?
Grind them out slow. Anyways, we'll see how that works.
Next up is the Illyrian Reavers.
It's a 16 points per model. Fast cav unit, hand weapons, spear, light armor. You can take bows at an extra 3 points, or replace the spears with bows at 1 point. Pretty standard fast cav. They're pretty sweet. 5+ save. Before the Dark Elf book came out,
these were the
quintessential sweet fast cav.
Yeah, they still are. Come on.
They still are, but they just don't rock that 4+ save.
Right.
And the hand bows that the Dark Elf ones do. But anyways, we got to get over that.
Yeah, we're not the Dark Elves. So.
No, yeah, F those guys. I have that book too, but yeah. So in my mind, your core is going to find itself somewhere in between. Well, any of these units, none of them are really that bad a choice.
Yeah, there's nothing obviously that's out, right? There's nothing total shit in your core. Compared to your other slots, the only thing that maybe isn't done better elsewhere in the book is the Reavers. So I can see them being sort of a must-have, just because you need that sort of fast chaff. If you give them the bows, you can piss people off just by always plinking away.
Yeah.
But as far as the other options go, I think it's more of a tax on your core allotment. You know.
Yeah, the spearmen archers kind of feel like that tax. The Lothern, in my mind, eases a bit. The Silver Helms, it's like, okay, but then you're running low model count.
Right. So most times, just take your minimum core.
Yeah, because when you start to look at the special and rare units, you just wish core didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
And to open up the special units. Oh, I misread that. I thought it was the other unit. Okay.
So the Lion Chariot of Chars.
Crace?
That sounds more like it.
Yeah, Crace.
It's a chariot pulled by lions. It's fucking awesome. What am I gonna say?
It's 120 points. It's got a 5+ save. Or 4+ saves. 4+ save, strength 5 on the charge, 4 wounds. The lions are strength 5, 2 attacks each. 2 lions, they're initiative 4. I like this. What's nice about it is I used to run a couple of chariots, and yeah, they pack punch on the charge, but if they don't break the unit, and if they don't have that support...
Yeah, they're done.
They're done. This guy can hold up. He's not going to hold up a horde of anything, but you know what? If it's like already pretty tight, the war lions could maybe set you above. And also, don't forget the charioteers have great weapons.
Yeah, so they're actually the white lions from
Yeah, it's not bad. It's 120 points that cannon bait, but
It's
it's
I think it's more one of those choices though. If you have the points extra,
yeah.
throw it in, but don't
build a list around it.
Don't build your list around it. The next guys are the White Lions of Charse. So these guys, but without their chariot, I guess.
Yeah.
13 points. Strength 4 as opposed to Strength 3 from other elves, so that's pretty nice. They have great weapons, heavy armor, and the Lion Cloak. So against shooting, they have a
3-up save.
3-up save. Thank you.
Can you have a 50-point standard?
50-point banner, so good place to drop your Banner of the World Dragon.
Yeah, that is a good place because now you have these guys running around with great weapons at strength 6.
And your unit champion can take 25 points of magic weapons, so I don't think that's...
You wouldn't take that.
No.
Not with a great weapon.
Yeah, you'd rather do a great weapon because you're...
Stubborn.
Stubborn base, so leadership 8 on them, so a lot of the times you're going to have to kill them to a man.
Yeah.
Forest Striders, so they...
Kind of neat. You don't have to worry about marching through forests.
Yep.
Go chase wood elves.
And even though they have great weapons, Always Strikes First cancels that out, so they're hitting at their initiative 5.
A lot of people swear by them. Say that this is what the tournament army includes. These guys in Banner of the World Dragon. I don't know. I think out of the 3 big... are the other guys...
Foot specials.
Yeah, out of the 3 big foot specials, they're my 3rd favorite.
I agree.
Yeah, the other 2 I like better.
I see the benefit because people look at the Strength 4 with the great weapon, so Strength 6. That's pretty sweet. You know, 1
attack each.
1 attack each. You don't get your rerolls because of ASF, because the ASF and ASL cancel out.
They have that. That's where the martial prowess is kind of nice. So if you're running 20, then you get the 3 ranks of them. So you get the, 15 attacks with the guardian. So you get the 16 attacks. So that's not too bad. But yeah, without the rerolls, which you're kind of relying on for all the other elves. The 3-up save against shooting is nice. So more of them will make it to the enemy. But it's just, to me, it's once they get there.
They better kill what they get in combat with very friggin' quick, or they're dying. Because they're still...
Because you gotta remember that Line Cloak doesn't apply.
It doesn't apply in close combat, so they're only with a 5-up armor save with toughness 3.
Yeah, that's... You're going down pretty quick.
Yeah, so you're relying on your initiative and hopefully your good weapon skill to kill something quick and then get out of combat.
Can you imagine that Gut Star? Like, you'll lose what, 3-4 guts? And then 10 attack back at 3 attacks, 30 attacks.
Yeah.
You're wiping out your whole line.
Yeah, and, that's not that great.
Yeah.
So the next up is the Sword Masters.
My 2nd favorite of the special choices, of the special foot choices.
Yeah, so these guys...
13 points.
13 points. They have a weapon skill of 6, strength 3, but they have great weapons. 2 attacks each, which is pretty nice.
Initiative 5. Yeah, great weapons always strike first. They can have a 50-point banner.
Again, their unit champion can take a 25-point magic weapon.
You may do that if you're really worried about ethereal stuff. But then you have them ranked, so you're not even worried about that. And they have a special rule called Deflect Shots. It gives them a 6-up ward against non-magical shooting attacks.
Yeah. Technically,
cannonball. Yeah.
Technically, it's a parry save, but yeah. They're Jedis.
They are sweet. A lot of people hate them.
I love them for the fluff.
Yeah.
I love the models, and
they're Jedis.
When they get in combat, they do alright, but wow, they're squishy. They're just as bad as the White Lions in terms of being squishy, except they don't have stubborn to keep them around.
The thing was nice is they got the Lord level weapon skill. The 2 attacks each. Yeah, you just gotta. There's a lot of finesse involved, I think, in using these guys. They're gonna, they could be targets for a lot of shooting. You can't put them up against stuff like witches that are gonna hit them first. But then with the Razor banner, I could see Monstrous Cav just going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whatnot.
I was thinking because their minimum unit size is 5, which is smaller compared to everyone else. Just taking little blocks of 5
just
with no
add.
upgrades and use them as chaff.
Yeah. Or just like next to your big block and you want to add an extra 10 strength 5 attacks or whatever skill 6, throw them in there. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's kind of akin to the Empire
detachment
units.
They don't get all the benefits of detachments, but
yeah,
a unit that small,
65.
people are going to be like, oh, well, we don't have to worry about them because they're not a threat. But once they start flapping on your flanks and stuff, they're going to be putting out attacks.
Well, that's right. So that's probably where more people are going to use them.
Yeah, not as a big block.
Not as a big. I've tried the big block and it's tough because then if they're a big block, then naturally people are worried about them, which they should be, and they soak up a lot of shooting, and then all you have left are your Lothran Seaguard. Next one, the Shadow Warriors, 14 points model. Basically an elf with ballistic skill 5 now. They're going to have the champion with a magic weapon. Maybe he gets to reaver bow with some people.
Yeah.
Long bows, light armor, skirmishers, they're scouts.
Yeah. So, they're kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And they're not great. Like, they're good shooters, so you can move and shoot a bit, especially with that scout.
Yeah.
But it's only one shot each, and they're kind of expensive. So if you do take them, it'd only be probably units of 5 to 10, maybe.
Yeah. Then that's 140 points for...
for 5 strength 3 bow shots.
Or 10, but yeah, strength...
Sorry, yeah.
Even 10 strength 3 bow shots, like... that's not even enough most of the time to get a war machine.
No. Or if you charge them into combat against a war machine, that they'd probably do all right because they do have the ASF and stuff. But
well, it depends what kind of war machine. The Empire, yes.
Dwarf, yes.
Toughness 4 dwarves. And some of those war machines are unbreakable with ruins. I don't know if the dwarf players are giving them those ruins, but
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never personally, when I've made a list and don't take, I haven't really done too much tournament stuff with them. I've never really thrown them in the list.
Yeah, I'm sure someone can make them work, but really, there's better things you have to do war machine hunting, and other armies do it better.
Well, for example, yeah, Shadow Warriors or Illyrian Reavers, which are fast cap that can vanguard and move 18. And
could have spears, so on the chart, they're strength 4.
And participate in your core attacks. So
you're taking that over Shadow Warriors every time.
Every time. Yeah, every day of the week. My favorite unit in the book.
Phoenix Guard. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Phoenix Guard.
Yeah, these guys are great. So, Leadership 9, which is better than everything in the book except for like your heroes and lords, pretty much.
And Dragon Princes.
Only strength toughness 3, fine. 1 attack each.
Initiative 6.
Initiative 6, so they're faster than a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
They have halberds and heavy armor, so not bad.
Skill 5, so strength 4.
Yeah, strength 4, not too shabby. The good thing is they get to benefit from the Oi Strike's first rerolls. Yeah,
so they add a little bit extra punch, not much, but now they're rerolling the hit.
Yes.
And they get the martial prowess, so you can do it in extra ranks.
They cause fear. Neat.
Yeah.
The big thing is, though, they got a 4-board save.
Yeah, that's right. 4 upward, you heard it. It's hard to explain these because it's just so obvious.
They're your anvil.
Yeah.
Being Leadership 9 is awesome. Having that 4-up ward save, amazing. I always throw my mage in here. Because with high magic, he can make their ward save a 3 just by casting 1 spell.
And if you don't like the spells you roll, you can always, and I would just recommend this, just switch it to Drain Magic. Because you can cast it regardless, even if there's nothing to cast it on per se, just to give the 3-up ward. It is infuriatingly frustrating, these troops. I've had them hold up the biggest asshole units and win eventually by attrition because of this.
They have the ability to hold up things that no other elf should be able to, and just do it because of that amazing ward save alone just keeps them alive.
Yeah, if you get to 3-up ward save, watch somebody with Juggernauts of Corn throw all kinds of attacks, and you lose 3 guys to it. And then, throw the Razor Banner on these guys, and now they've lost 1 Juggernaut of Corn. And they're at 2 left. These are the ultimate war of attrition guys.
And like other special units in here, they can take a 50-point banner, or their champion can take a 25 magic item.
Yeah.
Probably not the magic item, but these guys are also a prime candidate for the Banner of the World Dragon.
Yeah, that's the worst time.
So 2-up ward save against magic, 4-up ward save against everything else. Pretty sweet.
Or if you don't give them the or if you're a real arse, you can put the Banner of the World Dragon on your noble in there, and then give these guys the Razor Standard. So now even fighting like Chaos Knights and Sorcerer Weapons, so many points. They say they wound 5 of your guys. You may save 3, 4 if you're lucky, and then you're throwing back ASF attacks, re-rolling because your initiative's 6.
Yep.
You're wounding, say, end up wounding 7, 8, and now he's losing 2, 3, 4 knights because you're a Razor Banner.
Yep, pretty awesome.
Yeah, love these guys.
Dragon Princes. These are your heavy cavalry, so elf stat line, a little bit better initiative and leadership.
2 attacks.
2 attacks, which is nice. They have lances, dragon armor, so the heavy armor, 6-up ward save, and 2-up against flaming. They come with shield stock and a Lithmar barding. So they're 2-up armor save, heavy cav guys.
Can have a 75-point banner.
75-point banner, and 50 points of magic items. Sorry, the champion can take a magic weapon or magic armor up to 50 points.
One day I'm going to take him with the Armor of Destiny just to F with people. Okay. And they'll be just like, what are you doing?
But then you lose your 2-up ward save against flaming.
That's right.
So, I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. You'd never do that. That was the worst idea.
They're 29 points, so they're kind of expensive.
Yeah, so throwing a bus. I
always take 10. I don't know why. They usually do alright. It's your heavy cav, right? So it is a hammer unit.
Yeah, it's a hammer on the first turn.
On the first turn.
I see them more as like expensive heavy chaff. Yeah. So they can just run 5 up the flank and take care of most chaff, no problem. And then just find their way into your enemy's arse later and just be a handful. Because as chaff and their dragon princes, I find necessarily people are now focused on them. And now like with their dragon armor, a Searing Doom won't take care of them.
That's true. They're protected against that.
Yeah, they're protected against the Searing Doom. So they're neat. There are obviously other choices I would pick first, but I can see people taking them, like yourself, in a big unit.
I take them all the time.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're good heavy calf. I prefer them over the 1+ knights from Empire.
Oh really?
Yeah, we're the one
Inner Circle Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, because they Searing Doom.
Right, fair enough. Okay, yeah, I see where you come from. Good. So next one is the Skycutter Chariot.
I love this model.
Yeah, it's cool. If you like stupid models.
I also like the Space Wolves Santa Claus model.
Okay, well. It's a chariot pulled by a falcon that flies, and the chariot is shaped like a boat.
With feather rock. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
And it has a bolt thrower on it. Yes, a bolt thrower.
Note that this isn't an actual high elf repeater bolt thrower, though.
You don't need it.
It's one less strength.
You know what the worst is? Is that if you put your Lothran Seaguard in there, you can't use his Ballixa skill. Why not?
Because he gets rid of the bolt thrower when he gets in. He's like, we don't need this.
F this thing. And then he puts his leg up and charges.
Yeah.
Iconic.
It's 95 points.
It's a flying chariot with a bolt thrower.
You have to pay 25 extra points for the bolt thrower.
Flying chariot with a bolt thrower. 120 points gets you a flying chariot with a bolt thrower.
It's a piece of shit.
I've never used it.
It's garbage, I'm sorry. There's nothing good about this.
It's still fantastic. Tyrannuk Chariot. 70 points. Wow.
Cheap.
No wonder I've been losing. Yeah, I think you go with these, you need 3, 4.
Yeah, so the cool thing about these is you can take them in units of up to 3.
Oh, that's right. Why have I not been doing this?
So you can run them together as like a little group.
Yep.
I think 70 points is cheap.
210 points for 3 is not unreasonable for me.
Yeah.
Strength 5, 3d6 strength 5 attacks, throw them in. Hey, that's what follows your Phoenix Guard and gives them the punch that they need.
Yeah, or, you know, they just rush up and say, get the hell out of my way, chaff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that can cause problems in a line, for sure. The only problem is they don't have the same staying power as the the lion one, which is why I would tend towards maybe 3. If you're going to do them, go all out.
Don't take like 1 because it's going to die right away. It only has a 5-up armor. It's only toughness 4 with 4 wounds, so they're going to die to, you know, any sort of conscious effort to get rid of it. They're going to die. So at least take 3, make sure you get there.
Yeah.
Still, it's one of those things that only do if you have the points. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's not the first thing.
Focus my army around it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the first thing you'd throw in there. And in what I find a lot with this book is there's a lot of things where you're like, yeah, you could do that if you have the points, but I often find you don't because of the options the other choices you have, like the rare units.
All right, so we're getting into rares now.
Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, you know it. It's been the same since the High Elves have existed.
It's cheaper now.
It's 70 points, and the worst is you can have 4 of them in 2,000, 2,400, 2,500, whatever you play, point army. If you play 3,000 and you don't like the person you're playing, take 8 of them, because you can in a grand army.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what it does the strength 6 no armor saves on ballistical kind of shooting, or 6 strength 4 armor piercing shots.
Right.
4 of those. So now Buddy's hiding his demon prince behind a building.
Yeah,
and crying in the fetal position.
He'll be alright. Yeah. If you don't take archers, at least take these.
Yeah, you need these if you don't take archers.
And don't take 1, at least take 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because chances are that 1 single shot's going to miss. So might as well make sure you got some redundancies built in. And they're great. They're cheap. If you don't have, like I say, a dedicated shooter unit, you know, these guys can either do your single shot or do a multi-shot with 6 bolt shots.
Clear up some chaff.
Clear up chaff, pick off, you know, that big nasty with armor.
Yeah, definitely good for...
And just the fear factor they bring to the table. When someone sees that bolt thrower and knows that the main shot ignores armor, they're already on sort of like edge when they see it come down.
Almost irrationally, because it's just 1 strength 6, no armor save shot. And, you know, for it to really do a lot, Buddy has to be dumb enough to line up his Chaos Knights along that shot length, but...
Yeah, so next up is the Great Eagle, 50 points.
Trying to find it, because it's got some upgrades that you probably wouldn't take, because that's not what you're doing that for.
Yeah, so Swift Sense gives it
ASF, I think.
ASF, and Shredding Talons gives it armor piercing.
Yeah. 50 point, it's a Great Eagle, flies, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, attacks 2. Oh, unit 1+. War Machine Hunting, general nonsensicalities. That's what you would take these guys for. It's kind of the same eagle across any army that gets equals, really.
Yeah, the upgrades are cool, but...
Now they're expensive. It's a 50 to a 65 point eagle. It's not going to keep him alive any longer. It's not going to make him a hell of a lot more effective, really.
Right, so he's got 3 wounds, 2 attacks, strength toughness 4. So yeah, like Nick said, these guys are your War Machine Hunters because they can just get past the enemy lines.
Yeah.
You know, maybe...
And they're like extra drops, too.
Extra drops, maybe treat them as a, you know, cheap chaff. They're only 50 points, so you can do like your redirect shenanigans.
Yeah,
your flee shenanigans.
They're in rare units, and I know why. It's so you can't take 6 individual Great Eagles for 300 points and be an arse. So you can take 6 because they're units 1+, but now they're just 1 drop in 1 unit.
That's actually something different with this book. Before it was just a single eagle, now you can actually take them as units.
So like do a unit of 40.
I want to see that happen. Because I'm pretty sure you can do some dick stuff with like a unit of 40 of them.
I've never seen it or even mentioned. You heard it first here. But yeah, a unit of 40. Great Eagles with who can go on a Great Eagle? Oh, but you can't join flying crap. Ah, too bad. That would have been cool. Anyways.
Next up.
The two kind of new monsters in the High Elf book. Well, new. A year ago when the book came out. The, I'm going to pull this off.
That's the noise a phoenix makes.
Yeah.
The chickens.
The chickens, yeah.
So there's two types, the Flamespire and the Frostheart Phoenix. The Flamespire is 225 points. Strength 5, Toughness 5, Wounds 5, Initiative 4 with 3 attacks. He's a monster. He can fly. He has the Fireborn special rule, so 2-up ward against flaming. He has the Phoenix Reborn special rule, so what this means is when he dies in combat, instead of removing him from play, you place a token down where his body dropped, and every turn after the turn he died, you roll on a d6 chart, which Nick has here.
Yeah, so if you roll 1 to 2, like any other chart, it's bad, he dies. 3 to 5, all models, you center a large round template over the center of where that counter is. All models, friend or foe, get a strength 4 flaming hit, and then the counter stays in play, and then on 6+, he comes back, anywhere within 6 inches, with D3 plus 2 wounds.
The interesting thing about this is Anointed of Assyrian can use him as a mount.
Yeah.
And if they both go down at the same time, the 6 can bring him back. So how does that work?
Yeah, so if a Flamefire Phoenix has a rider, when it loses its last wound, both the monster and the rider are removed. So it's kind of weird in the sense that if your rider was fine, but your Phoenix gets smoked, you lose your rider too.
Right.
But you do a counter. However, now you can roll +1. So on a 5, the Phoenix and the rider come back. But if you roll 1, both of them disappear.
Right.
It's kind of a neat little gimmick. It's kind of a neat little fun thing. It's just a big...
The thing is, why plan to die to begin with, right?
Well, that's it. You're planning to die for this to come into play.
Yeah.
For like, yes, my Anointed and Phoenix died. Watch me roll up 1.
Yeah.
Damn it. Did you also talk about Attune to Magic?
Not yet.
Alright, so they also have Attune to Magic. What does that do?
So every time you roll for your Winds of Magic, depending on what the highest dice roll of your 2d6 roll for Winds of Magic is, there's a chart, and depending on what it is, stuff happens. Basically, on a 1, you have your ward save, which is part of the Attune to Magic. So you have a 5 ward save, sorry, to begin with, and then whatever your d6 roll adds buffs or debuffs to your Phoenix. The worst one is a 1, so your ward save goes down. On a 6, it goes up, and then there's different things in between. It's kind of neat. To be honest, though, half the time I forget that rule's in effect.
Oh, yeah. Really? With the 6, the 4-up ward on a monster?
I just never think of it as I'm playing, like in the heat of the moment, you know.
Yeah. No, I understand. I forget a ton of rules too.
It's a cool rule. Like
if you can remember, like 4-up, basically it's awesome. +1 attack or 1 strength or a 4+ ward on your Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Phoenix attacks are magical.
Yeah. Okay.
That's worth knowing.
The last rule for this Flamefire's Phoenix is a Wake of Fire. So.
Oh yeah.
This is actually pretty cool for removing sort of big horde weak units like Skaven or Night Goblins and things. So how this works is if a Flamespire Phoenix moves over 1 or more unengaged enemy units in the remaining move subphase, choose one of those units. That unit suffers D6 Strength 4 hits, plus an additional D3 hits per rank after the first. These hits have the Flaming Special Attacks rule. So like I was saying, units that are weak, toughness 3 guys, it's a way of dealing damage to them without actually having to engage in combat. All you have to do is move over, and you're doing D6 plus D3 for each rank.
I think it's cool, but I think it's more like if you can just fly over chaff on your way to your target. Because like if you're just flying back and forth on like 100 Skaven clan rats, Buddy doesn't care if you kill 10. He really doesn't.
You're going to kill more than 10.
D3 hits per rank. If he has 15 ranks, on average 2, 30, He's going to hit 20 of them. He's going to save another 6, so 12. 14, 15.
But it's a way to whittle stuff down without engaging, right?
Maybe, yeah.
If you're sending him to kill a war machine on the way over, just...
Yeah, I guess so. It's not too bad. Yeah, I guess it's not too bad. So yeah, as you can see, the Flame Spire Phoenix has a ton of rules.
The next one is the Frostheart.
But he's kind of overshadowed by the Frostheart.
The Frostheart is 15 points more and just
100 times better.
Just better in every way.
Weapon skill 6, strength 6, toughness 6, wounds 5, less initiative, 1 more attack, 1 more leadership.
Yeah, okay. So leadership 9 on a monster is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, he's got Blizzard Aura, Attune Magic, Natural Armor, 5+, Terror Large Target. Yeah, it doesn't wake a fire or anything. He's still attuned to magic, so he still has that, he gets stronger or weaker depending on how well you roll on your magic phase. But what's important? Blizzard Aura. Any enemy unit in base contact with him is always strike last and suffers -1 to its strength.
Yeah, that's amazing. 'Cause
on a 5-up ward monster.
On a 5-up ward monster. He's the dude you send in to combo charge with something else. He's just so good. He makes things always strikes last and takes away their toughness, or sorry, their strength by 1. That's a good way just to keep them alive too. You throw them in against some weak unit that's strength 5, all of a sudden they're wounding on 6s instead of 5s.
Yeah. You're not worried about Chaos Knights with ensorcelled weapons. Just throw them in.
Just throw him in. He's fine.
He'll kill a couple. They're always striking last. I could even see, and people might call me crazy, combo charge your Phoenix Guard him into Witch Elves. They're not so much of a problem anymore. Just look at the poison, though.
Just look at the rerolls for hatred.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So they don't
Maybe you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me.
Nothing contends with that stupid Witch Elf block.
Yeah, hate Dark Elves.
I hate them. Next up, the Sisters of Avalorn. So they're 14 points a model. Strength toughness 3 like an elf. The cool thing here is they have ballistic skill 5, so they're better shooters, normally hitting on 2s if you're short range.
Yep.
They have the Bow of Avalorn, so the one we were talking about before, strength 4 flaming attacks, and then it hurts forces of darkness.
-1 their armor save.
Their only upgrade though is a champion who has 1 better ballistic skill, so really not that great. I would never take the champion.
Unless, if you're playing a tournament, needs command model to score.
Yep, I can see that. She can take a magic weapon up to 25, so she can be a contender for the Reaver Bow if you don't have someone else with it.
Yeah.
The weird thing about these guys is no musician.
Because they're not skirmishers.
They're just sort of there. That's why you throw in the Handmaiden of Everqueen, because she'll make that unit quick to fire, so at least you can still move and shoot without penalty.
Yeah.
I've just started using these guys, and like we said before, you deal with ethereal guys with these bros. They just shoot them out of the sky.
There's nothing worse than setting up a sweet battle plan and then a unit of spirit hosts.
Wrecks the whole thing. Logan.
Yeah, Logan is... Anyways. Yeah. Or like Hex Wraiths running around and you have nothing to do against them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all the basic truths. Maybe we can just pick like 1 or 2 sort of special characters that stand out to us.
Yeah.
Might as well start with the Big Daddy Teclis.
Big Daddy Teclis.
He seems to be the one everyone
takes.
Or remembers from the old book at least.
Yeah. Alright, so Teclis is the twin of Tyrion. Yep. He's the wimpy little bitch super mage.
Super mage.
He's level 4. He doesn't generate spells following the normal rules. He can choose 1 spell from each of the 8 lores of battle magic, or he can either know all the lore of high magic.
The interesting thing about this guy...
he can choose one? Does that mean he doesn't roll?
He doesn't roll. He just chooses. So he can go to any particular lore and be like, I'll take this spell, this spell, this spell.
That's why people love him.
That's amazing.
I just realized this right now. It's like, yeah, I'll have Occam's Mind Razor. I'll have, Oh, what's that death one? It's not Pit of Shades. It's the
Purple Sun?
Purple Sun. Oh, Dwellers. You know, just got all the asshole ones.
Right, and that's 8 spells. So he chooses only 1 spell from each lore, but you can basically tailor your magic selection to your opponent that time.
Yeah.
Which is friggin' sweet.
Yeah, you spend a half hour before the game doing that, but yeah. So that's pretty sweet. He's Strength 2, Toughness 2, so for the love of God, don't put him anywhere near even a strong wind.
Yeah, he has no...
Which is funny because he gets the Sword of Teclis.
Yeah.
So all hits from the Sword of Teclis, wound on a 2+, and no armor saves. He's weapon skill 3. 1 attack.
I don't see the point of that, but...
you know, maybe somebody, if you're an idiot and he gets charged and you have maybe 1 chance of killing it. I think it's more fluff than anything.
Yeah, he's had that sword since, you know, his first incarnation in, like, First Dead or something. Like, that sword's been around forever.
Yeah, so they gotta keep it.
Yeah, he made it. He named it after himself. It's the Sword of Teclis. He has to have it.
Yeah, you know, it's like, nobody's gonna complain that it's overpowered. You killed Archaon with the Sword of Teclis! Anyway.
Next one is Moonstaff of Lilith.
Yeah.
So it's an arcane item with a 1 use only. It can either be used at the start of any of Teclis' magic phases, in which case a bonus power dice is added to every casting attempt Teclis makes that phase. That's pretty sweet. So every time you cast, you get an extra d6 just because. Yeah,
that's going to be a rough magic phase on... so basically, if you roll box cards on magic phase, you're like... Huh.
That's when you pop that staff.
You pop that and, yeah, you just let the magic fly.
If you don't use it that way, you can also use it anytime, or once at least, that Teclis suffers a miscast. In which case, the result of the miscast is ignored. If you use this staff anyway, though, after it's done, his strength to toughness is now a whopping 1. So even skinks are kicking his ass at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, skinks are just like monsters for him. Yeah, exactly. But it's a sweet little staff for sure.
Yep.
He has a Scroll of Hoth. It's an arcane item, 1 use only. When an enemy spell has been cast, provided it was not cast with irresistible force, he can read the Scroll of Hoth instead of attempting to dispel it by using spell dice. This automatically dispels spells. It's a spell scroll. You don't have to use dice. In addition, immediately after the spell has been resolved, both Teclis and the caster roll d6. If Teclis rolls higher, the caster immediately forgets the spell. Otherwise, nothing happens. Yeah, pretty cool. It's kind of the Dwarf Ruin of spell breaking.
Yeah.
So, that's nice.
Yeah, and the last one is the War Crown of Safri. It makes him a level 5 wizard.
So he's one of the few level 5 wizards that exist. So him and Nagash are level 5 wizards.
Yeah, but Nagash is a natural level 5.
Whatever, he's still...
Yeah, okay. So yeah, he's your supreme wizard.
How many points is he? Let's find out.
A lot.
Yeah.
I think he's 3 something.
450.
450. Okay.
But people take him.
He's powerful. Level 5.
Well, because you can pick your spells. I think that's why.
You can tailor your magic, yeah, to your opponent, which is, I think that's worth the points. It really hurts your overall army selection in the long run, though, because like your base lords and heroes are fairly cheap.
Yeah.
And he's really expensive, so you got to sort of tailor your list to maybe support Teclis as opposed to your other guys supporting your list, right?
That's right. If you take him, you're almost spending a lot of energy and points on supporting him, making sure he doesn't die.
Another note about him is he has no protection. He has no armor. He has no ward save.
Oh, exactly.
So
that's it.
Sit him in your Phoenix Guard and hope for the best, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Or not even. I don't know if I'd sit him in Phoenix Guard, because you kind of want those in combat. I'd put the Phoenix Guard in front. So then if somebody's getting close, throw them to hold them up for a while Teclis can just shoot magic.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, he's very expensive.
Anyone else to note?
A lot of cool ones that may have died recently.
That Nagash.
That Nagash, he's an Urs. Maybe Ilariel the Radiant, the other caster.
I think she's my favorite lord in this book.
Well, why don't you go through her since you love her? She's got a big heart on for her.
It's basically...
why is this sticking?
It's a nice picture.
Yeah.
She has an elf stat line, strength, toughness 3. She has 3 wounds because she is a lord level character.
So she can bitch slap Teclis.
Yep. Nope. 1 attack, she's leadership 10, which is nice for a caster.
For the spirit leeching.
Yeah. So she's a level 4 who knows spells from either the Lore of Life, Lore of Light, or Lore of High Magic. She can generate all her spells from 1 lore or 2 or more from the above lores in any combination. So basically, before the game, you can say, I'll take 2 from High Magic, 1 from Light, 1 from Life, or any combination of that. She has all the same rules that High Elves have, so always strikes first, the +1 to cast High Magic, Martial Prowess, and Valor of Ages. Her special rules are kind of neat, so all attacks made by her or the unit she is in are counted as magical attacks, and in addition, all models in her unit are immune to fear and terror. Kind of nice. Mm-hmm. She has another special rule, the Chaos Bane. So at the start of Ilariel's magic phases, before rolling any winds of magic, every unit with the demonic special rule within 12 of Ilariel suffers d6 strength 4 hits, distributed as for shooting attacks. However, Ilariel suffers a -3 D3 penalty to her casting attempts if there's 1 or more models with the demonic special rule within 12.
Oh, that's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, so it's kind of shit if she gets in close because it's hurting her casting level. She's only a level 4.
Yeah. She's only a level 4.
But it also might help stop chaff units from rushing up at her from the demonic.
Yeah, I guess
the
that's
demon's
true.
army at least.
Yeah, that's true.
5 Seekers run up to remain after the magic phase without having to concentrate any effort on killing them, right? So
I guess that's neat, but I think most of the chaff I've seen is those toads and the
Beast and Nurgle, yeah.
Yeah, and so
they don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, ooh.
Honey Badger don't give a shit.
Yeah, Honey Badger don't care.
Touch of the Everqueen. So Ilariel's close combat attacks, which is funny because she only has 1, have the heroic killing blow special rule if directed against models from the forces of destruction.
So if you're playing somebody with force destruction, just take her and charge her straight into
Nagash
and
heroic killing blow him,
and you win.
That's how you win.
That's why you get her. It's the heroic killing blow.
Fair enough. She has magic items too.
I lose all the time.
So she has the Shield Stone of Isha. It's a talisman and
Hi, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. We're back.
Yeah, so we had just a little problem with the camera. We were going over Ilariel though, so I think we were just talking about the Shield Stone of Isha. It gives herself or her unit a 5-up ward save. Pretty nice against non-magical attacks. So you pair that with
I'm sorry.
High Magic and the Banner of the World Dragon, and you can give her a 3+ ward save against non-magical attacks and a 2-up ward save against magical attacks.
That's pretty good. Broken. It's pretty broken. It's pretty good. Here I am. That's pretty good broken for a mage. Yeah, that's not bad. She's got a bunch of different stuff. So here, Star of Avalorn. It's an enchanted item. At the start of your movement phase, you can nominate a character within 12 inches, a single friendly character. That model immediately regains a wound lost earlier in the battle. If there's nobody, she can regain her own wounds. That's kind of cool. That's probably with that fighting character in the unit to prevent her from being beat to death.
Yeah, it's a cool way to heal wounds without having to take potions or, cast spells.
Yeah, neat.
Yeah. The next one is the Staff of Avalorn. It's one use only, and when you use it, she can attempt to cast a spell she's already cast. in that phase. So you can cast 2 spells.
2 fiery convocations.
You,
Amazing. That's a win.
and done.
Yeah.
20-0.
20-0. Thank you for coming out.
Wouldn't Chris love that?
Oh, fuck. I can hear him swearing. He's probably having a nightmare right now.
Yeah, so that's about it. The cool thing about her, though, is if you take her, she has something called heirloom magic items. So these aren't magic items that she specifically gets, but other units in the game can buy.
Yeah, so she kind of unlocks these magic items for the army. So there's one, it's called the Horn of Isha. 1 use only. The Horn of Isha can be used at the start of your movement phase for the remainder of the turn. All models in the unit receive a +1 hit bonus on all shooting and close combat attacks.
Yeah.
You bought her to unlock that? I would have thought, like, Sword of Kill Everything.
Yeah, it's cool, I guess.
Destroyer of Worlds.
Destroyer of Worlds. It's cool, but I believe it's kind of also expensive, so really, what's the point? A lot of your stuff has high ballistic skill anyway, so...
Yeah. Where is it? Where do you find that?
Page 91.
Oh, does it say there?
90,
oh, yeah.
91.
Yeah.
The other one is the Banner of Averlorn, so it's a magical standard. Spells from the Lore of Light and the Lore of Life cast by a friendly wizard that target a unit containing the banner receive a +4 bonus to cast.
Horn of Isha's 50 points.
That's not worth it.
Yeah.
The Banner of Averlorn's cool, but I believe it's 75 points. Are you on that page? No. And it's only Lore of Life and Light. So basically anything cast on that is a...
40 points.
40 points. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
They're casting at a +8.
That's pretty good. Light, Life. Yeah, those are solid lores.
If you take Life as your main level 4 lore, that's kind of cool because you're going to be regenning, possibly slaying people. I don't take lore Life, but do you know the spell that brings back dead guys?
Regrowth.
Regrowth. So that's a way to ensure that unit's coming back from the dead. Nothing's going to stop a +8. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous.
+8.
So you drop...
You would need 3 dice on average just to match that.
Yeah.
Because you get 7 on 2, so then you need, you get roughly 10, 11 on 3, just to start matching that. Assuming, and then if it's a level 4, yeah, exactly.
Throw Earthblood on, or Flesh to Stone.
Oh, if you don't have...
You can almost 1 dice it.
Yeah, you get almost 1 dice most of those.
Yeah.
Or you can do that and then have a lot of level 1 mages in light, and then do that whole banishment combo.
It only affects units that have the banner though. So basically,
oh yeah,
if you have a hammer unit that's kind of squishy, I don't know, maybe Silverhelm or Swordmasters, toss that on them. You have ways of keeping them alive, and making them tougher. Back. Yeah.
But then that means you have her going where they're going.
She doesn't have to be in that unit though.
Oh, I guess not.
It just has to be cast onto that unit, right? So she can stick behind and buff them up as they go.
Yeah, that's cool. But how many points is she then?
I think she's in the 300 range.
Really? She's cheaper than Teclis?
Well, Teclis is better.
350.
350. So it's not unreasonable.
Well, how much are you paying for a level 4 kitted?
Pretty close to that. No, it's not.
310. Right? Because he's 35 points.
Plus another 100, because you're going to take 100 points of magic items.
Yeah.
So that's 310.
220, 320. 320 versus 350. She's 30 points more than 100 point, a loaded up Archmage.
So if you're going to take Lore Life or Lore Light anyways...
Might as well take her.
Might as well take her, because you do get the bonuses.
Yeah, for just the 30 points extra, or 40, whatever, 30 or 40 points extra.
Yeah, plus throw that banner on something. It's a cool combo.
Yeah, I can see her actually being... Yeah, you could consider her, because she's not, over-costed.
Right.
She's... It may even be slightly undercosted. Though she isn't the whole pick your spells kind of deal as Teclis. Any other special character? The other one's got neat stuff, but...
Yeah, they're cool, but nothing really stands out. I think we've sort of gone over the two big ones.
Yeah. How about the magic items? Do you want to go over those quickly? I know we mentioned some already.
Yeah,
Reaver Bow.
good, we've already gone over it. The Star Lance is a neat one if you're taking sort of that mounted character lord.
Yep.
So it's a lance. Can only be used in the turn which you make a successful charge. Attacks with the Star Lance are resolved at +3 though, so with a... Usually it's a lord or a hero who takes it, so they're strength 4, so you'd be strength 7 on the charge. And armor saves cannot be taken against wounds caused by the Star Lance.
So I was thinking, that's awesome, but if you're strength 7, are you really worried about armor saves all that much? Really? Because even a 1-up goes to a 5-up. And yeah, you can still save them, and it's one turn.
I can see that argument. But the +3 strength is nice, right? So if you have something you want to punk anyways...
Yeah,
It's not so much the ignores armor, it's the strength 7. Because the only other way to get +3 strength is the Giant's Blade, and that's like 70 points.
But that's always strength 7.
That's always, but then you can't really kit the guy out defensively, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is at least a cheap way to get, at least for one turn, the 30 points.
Yeah, yeah. There's the Armor Calidor. It's armored silver steel, but it's kind of dragon armor style.
Yeah. Another cool one here is the Shield of Meruem.
Merworm, yeah.
Merworm. It's 15 points. Cool. It's a shield. Unless he's fighting with a weapon that requires 2 hands, the bearer of the Shield of Merryworm has a parry save of 4+.
And can use a magic weapon.
And that's the big thing, is you can parry even if you're using a magic weapon. And it's a 4+ parry.
So if you have a guy on foot, you can give him a 2+, or one, or you can probably get him a 2+, get him that, and a ogre blade or something like that. So he's a nasty SOB.
Yeah.
The one I want to use one day, the Cloak of Beards.
Alright, well, you can go over that one then.
It's 10 points, and will only work against dwarves, but I've run into some of their characters that are just arses, and basically you cause fear or terror to them, whatever. But at the start of the cold combat phase, roll d6 for each magic item carried by each model from dwarves that's base contact. On a 4+, you destroy it, each one. So that could be a sweet little 10. If you have 10 extra points, throw that somewhere. Little contingency plan against dwarves.
Just smoke their magic items?
Yeah, start pulling off their ruins. I don't know. Maybe I'm ridiculous. I am.
Everything else is sort of meh.
Yeah.
Hit and miss.
So that's
the book in a nutshell.
That's High Elves. So it's been a year and a bit with them.
Yep.
What would you say?
I'd say they're, you know, if you do think there's a tier system in the game, I'd say they're at least on the top rung, if not very top of the second rung.
I'd say they're at the top. The top rung, yeah.
The great thing about this army is there's not just like sort of the one net list. There's multiple ways to play it. There's different builds. You basically have a toolbox to choose what kind of army you want to play. If you want to go shooting heavy, you can do it cav heavy. If you want a bunch of foot troops, any combination of that, you know, it's all at your disposal.
Yeah, when you buy the book, you don't feel compelled to have to, like if you want to compete, you don't have to follow one or two kind of lists, and which you could run into trouble with some other armies, like ogres kind of have one list. Some would argue lizardmen have very few kind of competitive lists. These guys, it even seems now recently new lists are coming out, like the 4 Frostheart Phoenix list. I don't know if that's new, but that was at our last tournament, and that did reasonably well, and actually was at top table at Adepticon this year.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so I would never have thought, well, I guess you can see it in there, like take 4 Frosthearts. They're great.
One of the big complaints from High Elf players is Dark Elves do it better, and I don't completely agree. I think Dark Elves do it different and maybe a little easier, but you know, Dark Elf shooting's better, but we have, you know, the better birds, the flyers.
The better monsters, yeah.
The better monsters, and I feel that our specials are...
Well, the lore itself, too, is better if you're comparing high magic and dark magic.
Yeah, for sure. And just like our special choices. Like, they're two different armies. I don't think that's a fair comparison to say the Dark Elves do everything we do better. It's like, no, they just have a different style of play that maybe the High Elves wanted. I have no complaints about this army. Like, I love just being able to pick different things every time and not worry about, like, oh, am I going to do bad? Like,
no, I think even if you weren't kind of designing a list specifically for a tournament, you could still do reasonably well with this army. It has all the tools to deal with anything. It's got decent characters, it's got awesome magic, it's got great choices. You know, the core, your core is going to work in the army as well. It's going to do work.
Yep.
Like, you've got a unit that you can have a 3+ ward save on that will just never die.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's insane. That's just... And then if you're an arse and you put Ilariel in there with, or you have them regrowing your Phoenix Guard, watch your opponent tear their hair out because your Phoenix Guard keep coming back. So I don't know. I don't think that the white lines are the only way to go with this army, as some people would sort of suggest.
Yeah.
I think you can throw chariots in here, you can be competitive. I think, yeah, just about anything in here. There are some that you won't see too often. Unfortunately, Swordmasters being one of them. Although they're my second favorite.
I think there's ways to make them work, just not the way people have been trying, I think. Like I said, like the small little throwaway 5 to 10 man unit, I think is alright. But if you try to Death Star it up,
yeah, that Death Star doesn't last too long.
Doesn't last too long.
Yeah.
Even with their awesome 6+ parry against shooting.
It's just so awesome. Parrying a cannonball. Other than that, yeah, that's kind of the High Elves. So if you're new to the game and you want a finesse army, but something that's kind of forgiving,
yeah, definitely go with these guys.
You can definitely go with these guys. They got cool fluff too. They're kind of like a dying race fighting to keep chaos from engulfing the world, but they're fighting like an uphill battle. And
well, these are basically like your D&D style elf.
Yeah.
So if that's what you like, or like Lord of the Rings, like...
Yeah, these are the elves in Lord of the Rings, kind of. But yeah, definitely, even if you're an old player and you were thinking like, I wonder, this is kind of a good way to, you know, this video hopefully gave you a bit more insight into how the army plays or what units they have, and any more comments or? No,
just thanks for sticking through this long video. We'll be sure to do more book reviews. We'll probably do a Lore of High Magic review separate from this.
Yeah.
Just so you get a better insight into that whole lore itself. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, if you're looking for other, if you like what you see here, please subscribe to the channel. If you like podcast style content, you can see our kind of sister group, Canhammer.
Yeah.
At canhammer.com.
Right.
Great bi-weekly podcast.
Is it bi-weekly?
Generally, yeah.
Okay. And if you're into like a more sort of general podcast, not just Warhammer related, but a little bit of everything sort of games related, there's a new one out of Montreal. It's called Geeks of the North.
Yeah, another very good podcast. Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty good guys on there. So yeah, you know, there's a lot out there if you're looking for other content to listen to.
Absolutely, while you're painting, at least.
While you're painting, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So thanks, guys.
Cheers.